I think my mic's working now. Okay, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. Oh yeah, it's that time of season, baby. Now we're not quite at playoffs yet, but we are getting very close. And in order to really set it in stone that we're getting to that time, ladies and gentlemen, thought we'd do an interesting video series for the end of the season. Basically just recap, go over the past week. There's two games that haven't been played yet. It's Preston and JC, and then it was Woo and New. Very good games. Looking forward to them, but I don't have much free time, so I kind of record these when I can. So I'll probably put those games for next week's week. I'll probably be lumped in with the week 11 recap, so next week a little bit longer video, this week a little bit of a shorter one. But anyway, let's get on into it. This week had a lot of playoff implications. A lot of teams really struggling to break out, but that's the beauty in all of it. So let's get on into it. Hold on, let me turn on my personal music here, because I know you bozos don't like the songs being played. We'll do this. Tanner said to do it, so we'll just put the face cam in the middle here. I kind of don't like it. I almost want to put the face cam off, but fuck it, we ball. Let's see this. Alright, so first game of the week was me and Chris. Your boy got 2-0'd. First loss of the season. Definitely not a good look, especially as we near playoffs, and especially since Chris is a team that I will most likely have to face at some point in the playoffs. But anyway, yeah, not a good look for your boy. As you can see, left-hand side of the screen, my boys didn't frag as well as I thought they would. Kind of got ran at by Palafin, like everyone else. I don't know what you can do, especially when he brings no attack, negative attack choice ban Palafin, but that's besides the point. But yeah, obviously game 1, I had it won, just missed a blaze kick, costed me the game. Game 2, Chris just there's no other way to put it, Chris just outplayed me. I'm not going to try to make excuses. Chris played better, and there's nothing wrong in admitting that. He just played better than me. But yeah. Obviously, the game plan I came in with didn't work. As you can see, I didn't bring Garchomp or Blastoise, which have been kind of staples on my team alongside Zeraora, so really wanted to try out a different approach this week. As you can see, my team is pretty defensive and utility-based, which maybe I played it wrong. I mean, I had him beat game 1, so I think it was a good strategy, but obviously had its flaws, and we fell a little bit short. Yeah, I mean, first week for Liepard as well. Liepard did alright. I scared out the Palafin, which is what I kind of wanted it to do. But yeah, we shut down the Meowscarada, but again, his walls were really putting in the work. As you can see, Shiinotic did really well. Shiinotic slept my two only offensive mons this week in Tornadus and Zeraora for 3 turns each, game 2, so that really sucked. But yeah, I mean, there's gonna be hacks in Pokemon. I mean, honestly, I've been pretty lucky for my streak to even last this long. Chase should have beaten me a couple weeks ago. B, if he had prepped a little differently, he could have beat me. Not gonna say he guarantees beat me, but there's a good chance. First time me and Chris played, he missed a Giga Impact. Who knows if he would have won that game, but definitely coming back to bite me in the ass now. So yeah, I mean, me missing the Blaze Kick is kind of like Chris missing the Giga Impact. They're both 90 base power moves, or 90 accuracy, 90% accurate. So me missing the Blaze Kick is just kind of revenge for that. And yeah, my game against Mnez as well. Probably should have lost that week 1, but he played really bad. So did I, but he played worse, so I came out with the win. So I'm not gonna complain. And then Chris, really heating up. 8-2. He's only 1 game behind me now. He's no longer. I used to be 2 games ahead of him. Now I'm only 1 game ahead of him. So yeah, I'm 9-1. He's 8-2. Because he beat Noah. So yeah, Chris is We have the top 2 teams in the league in the same division. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. But yeah. Um Definitely looking forward to playing Chris in our third match in the playoffs. We're not guaranteed to play, but I expect to see him in the semis, like I said in the other video. So again, I just expect to see Chris in semis. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Chris, really solid week from him. Finally took down the streak. Last season the record's 8-0. This season's 9-0. Maybe we can go 10-0 next season, but yeah, streak officially over. Chris won. Good game to Chris. I'm beating you in playoffs, big dog. That's all. That's all I'm saying, big man. Let's go on to the next one. Next game of the week was Tanner versus Nick. Again, this one didn't really surprise anyone. No offense to Nick, but Nick really struggling. First season, new coach, really just trying to find his footing. But honestly, it didn't disappoint either. Obviously, losing 2-0 never feels good, but with the Entei, as you can see, Entei and low kicks as KDs, not terrible. They did pretty well, but Arcanine just ran through his team. Once Tanner got the webs up with Vikavolt, Head Smash just killed everything. So now that Tanner has these webs that he got from New, definitely I would expect for all of his opponents coming forward, I would expect you to prep for webs because Tanner, you didn't get him for no reason. Trade deadline is not this Monday, but next Monday. Trade deadline is over, so there's a reason he did it now. Needs to get it. He needs to do good at the second half of the season because if Wu beats New, he still has his playoff spot over Tanner. So Tanner, as of right now, is not making playoffs. So Tanner really needs to win out. Really needs to win out. He plays Wu and he plays Croc. Best case scenario for him, he beats both of them and doesn't have to worry about anything. The other good case for him is that he beats Croc. Because if he beats Croc, he clinches division, and then he doesn't have to worry about his game against Wu. But if he loses to Croc, I mean, I think he plays Croc. Yeah, he plays Croc after Wu, I believe. So, definitely, yeah. So, he definitely needs to beat Wu next week just to take the pressure off. But if he loses to Wu, his game against Croc is a must-win. And if he loses to Croc, Tanner's not making playoffs. So, Tanner's 2 biggest games of the season are coming up. Definitely gonna be exciting. Because Tanner is like me. Me and Tanner have like the same we have like the same history in the league. Season 1, he made it. He was the runner-up finalist. Last season, he was a semi-finalist. Season 1, I was a semi-finalist, didn't make it to finals, and then last season, I was the runner-up to the finalist. So me and Tanner have kind of the same journey in Big Juice. Obviously, my record has always been season 1. We were both 5-1 going to the playoffs. We're equal, so I guess you could say whatever. That's kind of a wash. But past 2 seasons, I've had a pretty better record than him. But that shouldn't take away from his skill, or that shouldn't take away from anything. I mean, we have both achieved the same things in the league. Regular season is important. It's what gets you to playoffs, but how you actually perform in playoffs is a completely different story. So if you look at it just from a complete performance basis and what we achieved, me and Tanner are equals. So yeah, but yeah, Tanner, good. He brought a good team this week. Booster Energy, Valiant, a little weird, but guess if he was worried about like a Scale Shot Mega Garchomp, makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, the Webs did a lot. New addition in Vikavolt. Definitely just catching a feel for his team before, next 2 weeks, a lot of pressure on him. I know watching these videos, I kind of feels like I'm being rude in a way, or just like nagging, but the pressure cannot be understated by any means. I mean, if I just hold on, let me do some things real quick. I have some messages I need to clear out. But yeah, you go to rankings. Tanner is right here, 6-4 at +10, but Wu is 5-4 and +8. So if he wins by +3 or better against New, which, I mean, not to be rude to New, but I think is very doable. Again, he's not making playoffs. So again, it's hard to not emphasize the importance of these next few games for Tanner. A lot of pressure on them. It's really put up or shut up for him because he's been saying all season that second he beat JC week 1, he said this season's going to be easy. He's going to tear through the league. And as you can see, it has been the opposite of that. So these next 2 weeks are really going to prove if he can back up his words or not. So yeah, I kind of wanted to do. I mean, obviously, I don't really care who I play in playoffs because if you're gonna be the best, if you're gonna be the champ, you got to be the best and you got to beat everyone. So I don't really care who I play, but it would definitely be disappointing to not see Tanner or JC. JC's in a position where it's very, very hard for him to make playoffs. If he beats Preston, that's the first step in many he can make to make it to playoffs. But again, it'd be very Big Juice postseason. Big Juice would not be the same without those two teams. So yeah, I want to see them, but again, the new talent in the league and the new coaches and old coaches of old that just have got improved their battling abilities through the postseason. The talent has definitely caught up to Tanner, and if he can't stay ahead, he's not gonna make it. So yeah, it's a big 2 weeks ahead for Tanner. For Nick, uh, just just some advice. Just don't. I'm not gonna say don't take the rest of the season too like seriously, but don't take it too lightly either. Like, try to scout out Pokemon on other teams that you think that you would enjoy using. See how they're using them. Watch their old games that those Pokemon have come to. See how they use them, and just scout out what you would want for next season, and uh, what else did I want to say? Just have fun with it. You know what I mean? You're not making playoffs, unfortunately, but I think if you really hone in on just even within your own team, like I think you've been using low kicks pretty well this season, and same with Entei. So maybe if you just keep using them as well if you have been, and just keep doing good with them, maybe you franchise one of them going into next season. Who knows? But I think as of right now, it's still the learning process. Chris, Preston, a lot of our coaches in season 1 had to go through this, so definitely don't feel bad about it. But yeah, use these last 3, 4 weeks, however many weeks we have, to just get more comfortable with your team, get more accustomed to it, and just get ready for next season. Because while it's like maybe it's like 3 months away from now, 4 months away from now. Um, well, no, this is ending in like 2 months, like mid-April. So maybe like late May, early June. Who knows when we start up season 4? But within the next 2 to 3 months, season 4 will be around. So you have like 2 to 3 months of like buffer time to really hone in on your Pokemon skills, learn how to play the game, because the biggest thing when you're learning a game is just learning the feel of it. And when you don't have that initial groundwork of like how a Pokemon game should feel, it's hard to play the game because you don't know. Because Nick makes a lot of over predictions at times, and like as a Pokemon player, you know when you need to make predictions. There's times when you have to make predictions, and there's times where you shouldn't. And Nick makes the over predictions when he shouldn't. And just learning when and what, like it's a niche thinking like that that really separates the good from the great and the bad from the decent. So for Nick, definitely just use this last little bit of the season, figure out what you like, maybe look at it for next season. We should have the tiers for season 4 coming out probably by the end of the season, pretty soon after this finals is over. So um, yeah, just try to have fun with the rest of the season, and I hope you decide to stay around for season 4. I think you've already said you are interested, so glad to have you back if you do decide to stay. And just try to have fun with it. Just try to see what Pokemon you didn't like, what Pokemon you did like on your team, maybe, all that good stuff. So yeah, that was Tanner and Nick's game. So yeah, let's get on with the next one. Croc versus Chase. You can see right there. 2-1 game 3 with a 0 differential. This set was absolute. You can just see the KDs and just see what Pokemon were doing the work. Scarf Terrakion was such a good bearing on Croc's end. I mean, Terrakion, the best. I mean, the best Sword of Justice, the best legendary in that quartet, I believe. Virizion, Cobalion, Keldeo. Yeah, so the best in that quartet, and he just hits, bro. He's had him on his team on it. He's had Tracheon on his team like since like week 2 or 3, whenever he made like that big roster swap. But he hasn't been bringing it often. But the past couple weeks, he's been bringing it, and it's been putting in the fucking work. Tracheon. I mean, granted, this is back in like Gen 6, 7 days, but Terrakion was the kill leader in the GBA for a very, very long. It was him and Mega Pinsir. Terrakion and Mega Pinsir were like the kill leaders in the GBA for an extremely long amount of time, and it's for good reason. They're both really good Pokemon, and in my opinion, Terrakion's better than Mega Pinsir. Um, just extremely strong. Just hits so hard. You bring a Bandit or Scarf every week, and it just does fucking work. It's 6-1. Game 1 and halfway into Game 2, Terrakion was very quiet, didn't do anything. But the second half of Game 2 and Game 3, Terrakion put Croc's team on his fucking back and hard carried. Granted, Game 1, Poison Jab the Primarina didn't kill, got one shot by Moonblast. That's whatever. You know what? Maybe he had no other moves to kill Prim at the time. Who knows? But, yeah. Terrakion put in the fucking work, carried. Quiet week from Gyarados, but other than that, the backs picked up the slack, and Gardevoir only has one kill, and I hate. It's hard to not look at that one kill and not think about the crit at the beginning of Game 3. Did that fuck over Chase? Very much so, yes. Everyone agrees on that. Is that the reason Chase lost? Maybe. Maybe. Prem was a big issue for Croc's team. He did not have a switch in. But to say Croc only won because of the crit, a little disingenuous. I don't. It mattered a lot. It definitely it was more of a mental thing. I mean, it was as important as a mental thing as it was like an actual game-changing crit, right? So it just happens. Hacks. It's part of the game. Happened to me this week. Happens to Tabs every week. um, but yeah, I mean, sucked a lot. But Chase really put up a good fight. I mean, this game was kind of Chase's last hoorah, last real chance to make playoffs. At his current record, I just don't see how he does. He would need Croc or Tanner to essentially lose out all the rest of their games, and he would need to win out, but realistically, that's just not happening. So this is really Chase's last chance to make a run for playoffs. Uh, and for Chase, I hate to harp on the negative, but I just did it for Nick, so I guess I'll just segue into Chase with it. But Chase season 2 was on the cusp of making playoffs and just fell just a little bit short in that play-in tournament. He just fell a little bit short and didn't make playoffs. And this season, he should have beat me. He should have beat Tanner the first time. If Prim didn't get crit this game, who knows? Maybe he could have won. I honestly couldn't tell you. That's 2 games he should have guaranteed won, and he lost because of hacks. And it's against 2. I'm a top team, and he's not guaranteed for playoffs right now, but we all know Tanner. He's a top contender. He's a top player. So yeah, I mean Chase's record right now is 3-7. He should be 5-5. He'd be right in the playoff race with. He'd be above Tanner in the playoff race, and he'd be tied with Woo right now. So, or no, he'd still be behind Woo a little bit, because Woo is probably gonna. I mean, he's 5-4 right now. He could lose to New, but assuming nothing crazy happens, he's gonna be 6-4. So he's still behind Woo, but he would be obviously in a position to make playoffs. And I think Chase's season this season was very unfortunate. He made a lot of new friends in Regieleki and Cinderace, and he brought back a lot a lot of old friends in Prim, franchise Nidoking, picked up Whimsicott in free agency, got Duraludon from season 1 even. What a callback. But I think what Chase needs to do is just use his Mons, Because Chase, obviously, as we can all see with his team, how it's constructed now, once he finds something he likes to stick with it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think if he keeps using Mega Sceptile, it will surprise him. Last week against Josh, put in the work, and this week against Croc, it put in the work too. Like 3-3, that's not. It did as well as Prim did. Obviously, Prim was doing a lot more damage than Sceptile, but Sceptile was cleaning up the kills that was necessary for Chase to win. You know what I mean? So yeah. Obviously, Chase can't franchise Nidoking in Season 4. He franchised for this season. He can still draft it, but he can't franchise it. But if I'm Chase, I definitely look at maybe franchising Whimsicott, maybe Cinderace, maybe Prim, and just thinking about next season. And also, he's in a position to ruin playoffs for someone else. I don't know if he plays. I know he doesn't play Tanner anymore, but if he plays Woo, or if he plays like anyone else in like other divisions, like in JC's division, for example, if he plays any of them, he can ruin playoffs for someone else, and maybe that gives him some twisted like sense of fulfillment. Who knows? But yeah, Chase, I think you should just play out the rest of the season, kind of like Nick. Obviously, try to do your best and try to win. Obviously, you don't want to end a season with like 3 wins, 11 losses. That just doesn't look good, and you're definitely not a player of that caliber. You're definitely. I've been saying it for the past 3 seasons, Chase. We both know it. Season 1, I had you going to semifinals. Obviously, I didn't have you going to final. I actually did. I think I did have Chase going to finals. Yeah, I think I did because I forget who he played round 1. I think he played Preston, but then I think after that he played JC. Or no, I think he played Tanner. Yeah, I had him beating Tanner to go to finals against me or JC. So yeah, I've been preaching Chase as a top contender for a while. I think he's very caliber. He's the caliber of it. I mean, he had me beat, and I'm 9-1. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't mean to suck my own dick, but I think I'm very consistently like the number 1 or number 2 coach every season. And for Chase to bring it to me like that shows it. And the fact that he beat Josh so convincingly like a week ago shows it. It's just he makes some slip ups within the weeks. Gets unlucky time to time. Obviously, everyone does, but Chase a little bit more so at times. And yeah, so yeah, for Chase, just think about next season. Obviously, win out as well as much as you can. Try to have fun with it. But yeah, just think about maybe if you want to franchise anyone. And yeah, just again, just kind of like Nick, just take it, try to win out. Obviously, like I said, 3-11 doesn't look good, but try to try to think about next season. And I definitely he didn't make playoffs past season 2 or 3, but season 4, I would be very surprised if you didn't make it again because again, I think you're very good, and I think anyone in this league is very capable of playoffs outside of like Nick right now. I think Nick is very much learning the game, new. I don't know how new he is to Pokemon, but I think him and Nick are really the only ones that I don't see could ever make playoffs at the moment. But that's just going off this season's performance. Maybe New just had a team he wasn't comfortable with. Who knows? But yeah, I think for the other 14 coaches in the league, just just straight out math, 6 of them aren't going to make playoffs, and that just sucks. It's going to feel terrible. But in high stress competition, it's just how it works. Not everyone can win. It sucks. It feels really bad. It feels really shitty. But it's just the nature of the beast. And I think Chase will have a good season 4. I would expect him to be top 5 team. Saying it now, top 5 team. Don't be shocked when Chase is top 5 team next season. That's all I'm saying. And for Croc, uh, obviously I don't think he had much singles experience coming into the season. I think he was more of a VGC player. I think Preston said, but coming out the gate just swinging. Rookie season. I don't know if he's ever done draft before either, but yeah, for a Big Juice rookie season, having a great season. Division leader at the moment, so that's really good, especially when you're beating out someone like Tanner. Very, very impressive for season. Shades of Emnez last season, if I'll say so myself. Because Emnez struggled a lot in the regular season, but in the postseason, and that's a different story. Will Croc be the same? Who knows? But Shades of Emnez I see in Croc. A very talented player, great season. I know I in my playoff brackets I don't have him making it to semifinals, but yeah. I mean, again, it just really Chris and Croc play like week 14, and assuming that's the match that will happen going into playoffs, I don't know if that's a real match or not. Again, I've been preaching it. If that's the matchup going into playoffs, I would recommend maybe one, if not both of them, just hard troll that set. Just don't show anything. You play each other in a week, don't show anything. But yeah, um, Croc is in a position that's very good. As long as he beats Tanner, he guarantees his playoff spot. So for Croc, none of the other games matter. Just got to beat Tanner. You're all set. So while they're week 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, so while there's 4 weeks left, there's only one game you got to worry about, and that's against Tanner in week 12. So really, I think Croc should focus up. Same with Tanner. But yeah, um, when you're in a position like Croc is, to where only one game matters, it's both really good and paradoxically really bad, because it puts on so much pressure on you to win that one game that it makes the other 3 games not even comparable to that one game in the amount of stress. Um, I know it sucks, but as a person that is very, again, I've been to both semifinals and one of the 2 finals. I know what it's like in the high stress environments, and especially in Big Juice. Uh, and just I play a lot of other esports like Smite, Call of Duty back in the day. I've played a lot of esports in my time. I'm very accustomed to the pressure, but it doesn't stop the butterflies. So I think Croc, if like I've been saying, Shades of Emnez, if he's got that dog in him, I would not I would not be surprised to see Croc go to finals. Obviously, I have myself winning the whole thing, and he'd have to get through me to get to finals. But I think Croc's team very offensive, but with the walls that he has in Arcanine, Dax Bun, very very good team, very threatening team. It's just a matter of facilitating his offensive threats in Baxcalibur and Gyarados, and now with the rise of Terrakion on his team, I'd be very scared for other coaches playing him. So yeah, Croc and Chase, that's your game. So yeah, moving on to the next one. Got Emez and Noah. This game was a little crazy. Um, yeah. The T-Bolt pair on Slowbro was really terrible for Emez. Cause honestly, probably could have just swept with Slowbro, but the T-Bolt para from Coco really kept Noah in it. But again, Noah just fell a little bit short. The one questionable thing I have from this set was the bring of Uxie. Granted, he had the Cobra Berry for Chin Pao. I mean, I'm assuming he had counter or some fighting move like Drain Punch. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It really sucks when you get. I think he got crit or something, or no, he got paralyzed from glare. He got glare paralysis, and then later in the game when so definitely sucks to for that to happen. But again, with Dragapult and Shinpao on the same team, bringing a psychic type, kind of questionable. I get granted he had the tech, we just never got to saw it. But again, I can't really say I'm with bringing that. Maybe he's got that dog in him and I don't. I don't know, but yeah. As you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, though, Sandaconda on the come up, man. And that's was talking about trading him for a long, long time this season, but the past couple weeks he's been bringing it. It's been popping off. So I think Sandaconda, again, like Terrakion with Croc, I think Sandaconda's on the come up from this. I think Sandaconda is a really good bring for his team, and it really fits his playstyle. Just really, really bulky Pokemon that can hit pretty hard. So yeah, I think Sandaconda is going to be very crucial to his team. We saw Comfey and obviously Agent Bolt. But yeah, Emez, solid game. All of his Pokemon only died once, which is really crazy. They all took their turns dying. But yeah, um, he did a good job shutting down the Annihilate. Good job of just kind of shutting down everything on Noah's side. And he's not guaranteed for playoffs yet, but in a way, he's essentially guaranteed, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So as you can see, he is right here, and the only other person in his division that can contest his spot is B. But they're both 5-5, and if B beats MNAS in Week 12, they have the same divisional record, and assuming the rest of the season goes out and they both went out, they both have the same record. The issue is if MNAS loses to B at the end of Week 14, it's going to come down to who has the better differential. And that's scary. Because MNAS, while this is a big win for him, same spot as Tanner and Croc. He's got, out of the last 4 games he has, only 1 matters. But that pressure is on. Historically, he's always beaten B. I think he's only lost to B once, and that was in Ruski, and he had a troll team with the mono ground. So in Big Juice, he's always beaten them. But B has been playing very well. Just beat Tabs pretty convincingly. Obviously, they went to a game 3, but I would say it's a pretty convincing win for B. Had me on the roller as well. Had me really struggling. So B's on the come up. I said at the end of last season, B's a playoff contender. Give him another season, and he's going to be a playoff contender. He's in a spot. It's a matter if he can really bring it to MNAS. Stressful game for the both of them. So yeah, it's gonna be a crazy It's gonna be a crazy game. That's all there is to it. So yeah, yeah. But to see MNAS not make playoffs after winning finals again, talked about it with Tanner and JC. Not seeing them in playoffs would be crazy. If we don't see the season 2 champ in playoffs for season 3, that would be the craziest goddamn world we fucking live in. So yeah, MNAS, while this win put off a ton of pressure, it was the one of 2 steps he needs to make. The first step was beating Noah. Second step is beating B. You beat B, don't gotta worry about nothing, big man. But if you lose to B Week 12, your season is very well jeopardized. And for B, even if you win Week 12, you still gotta do good in your other games to get that differential up. Because as of right now, MNAS is plus 13 on you. So that's a pretty big differential gap. So I would definitely advise you to play very well the rest of the season. You guys have the same record, but as of now, MNAS is in the better position divisionally. So both of you, I expect Week 12 to be a bang every game. I expect it to be Game 3 set, potentially set of the season. A lot on the line. But yeah. And then for Noah, Noah started off the season really strong. Everyone was super scared of him. I even thought maybe he's like a top team, and I still believe he is. I really do believe that he is a top team, like a top 2, top 3 team. I really do believe that. But he's really been struggling in his division. Obviously, division games are a lot more important. Outside of his division, he's doing pretty well. But he's not out of play. Like again, I said in my video last week, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't make playoffs, right? But if he keeps losing, his playoff spot's on the line. Potentially, we got Tabs and B on the come up. They can take his spot very easily. Preston, he's also in playoffs with Noah right now, but both Noah and Preston are on the down, and with B and Tabs on the rise, and potentially even JC, he made some roster swaps and he's been pretty comfortable with them. So if JC's on the come up too, Preston and Noah are very well jeopardized. But I think Noah will be fine. I think if he just sticks to what he's comfortable with and just kind of plays the game he's been playing, I think he'll be fine. Just for some reason, he just can't win divisional games. It sucks because you only get 6 of them out of the 14, but those 6 games are the really important ones, and it just sucks. But I would be very surprised if Noah these two teams right here, I'd be very surprised if they didn't make playoffs. So yeah. So for Noah, just keep your head in it. Division just has to be going your way this season, but yeah, just keep playing your game. I think you'll be fine. And for Mnez and B, just get ready for week 12. Because with Tanner and Croc, same thing with you two. Very, very stressful game. And then I believe no, I think there's one game after this. So Tabs and B kind of went over it with the Mnez and the Mnez and Noah game, but the other game from this division this week, B just went crazy. If you just look at the KDs, if it wasn't for Rillaboom, B just destroys them. Specs, Draco, Latias. I said it like halfway through the season. I said it's kind of weird that he's been bringing it, but it kills everything. There's no switching. Um, B played really well, made a couple misplays here and there, but for the most part, he played really solidly. And differential shows +7. Yeah. Game two got a little bit of hacks in his favor, I would say. It was in his favor or not, but yeah. B just played really solid. Really had great prep this week. And even though snooze over game 0-1, he was literally invisible this set. Got no kills and died once out of 3 games. B didn't even have to use them. But game 3, he got the rocks up, got 3 layers of spikes up. There was nothing Tabs could do at that point. Game was just kind of over. But yeah, really solid game from B. Tabs, his only defogger I think is fucking Masquerain. So when you don't see Masquerain, you hazard stack him and he just can't do shit. I always do the negative first, so I guess I'll do the negative first here as well since Tabs lost. Tabs, not out of playoffs yet, but you losing to B guarantees that you can't win through division. So you have to win out. For your best chances, obviously, you have to win out. Just go 8-5. You don't got worry. Or what is it? It's 14 weeks. He's 5-5. So what? 9-5? Yeah. Just go 9-5. You don't gotta worry about shit. Obviously, that's a lot easier said than done. But yeah. Um, Obviously B and Mnez most likely gonna be the divisional leaders for this division. But for you, just Noah lost his game, so you guys are tied. Obviously, his differential's way better than yours, but it comes down to win-loss. Differential's not everything. Differential is only for tiebreakers. If you just win one more game than Noah or Preston, you make playoffs. So I would just focus on that. Just focus on winning. It doesn't matter how you win. Just win your games, and you are set. You made playoffs last season. Uh, Rough game against Tanner in the quarterfinals, but I definitely thought you could have brought it to game 3. Definitely trolled by clicking Meteor Mesh, and we all know it. But yeah, great coach. I wouldn't be surprised if he made it, but he just has a little bit of cleanup to do. And if he makes a couple changes and he plays a little bit cleaner, I think he'll be fine. I really do. And for B, again, week 12 is a big week for you. Just because you beat Mnez does not mean you make playoffs, but it makes your chances of playoffs a whole hell of a lot better if you beat them. So focus on beating them. Obviously, week 11, 13, and 14 still very crucial for your season, but week 12 is the big one. Because again, you tie in divisional record, and then all that matters is differential. Obviously, it's not the best way to go about it, but again, look at it this way. Doesn't even come down to differential. If you just beat Mnez, or no, it wouldn't matter in differential because you have the same record. So yeah, no matter what, it's gonna come down to differential, which kind of sucks for B. But I think it's fine. B is again, his team is very scary, and I think when you can have a game where Sneasler does literally nothing and you still look extremely dominant, that's a statement. That's a statement. So I would be. I know I keep saying this with most of the coaches, and especially in this division specifically, but I'd be very surprised to see playoffs without B. I think B's in a very prime position to snag a spot. So I'd keep your eyes on B and Tabs. They're both on the come up. Uh, just Tabs fell a little bit short this week, but I wouldn't be surprised if the 3 playoff spots for the Hoenn Conference to be winner of the conference, and then like Noah tabs or B tabs or B and Noah. I could see all three of them making it, and then Josh being the only one that wins in his division. But again, we'll see. So yeah, that is that, and we'll move on to the last game that we had this week, I believe. Yeah, this is the last game because the other two games haven't been played yet. We'll do the recap for week 11 recap. So next week's video will be a little bit longer. But yeah, this was a super good set. Super good set. First week we saw the mouse and he popped off, bro. Oh, so happy to see the mouse pop. I've been telling Josh to bring it for weeks. Number one, banger name. Meet the Gers. That was a banger name. Secondly, popped off. Population bomb popping off. I see the relationship there. He brought the Scarf Tusk again, which I believe he brought it the last time he played Biff. So, just great bring. But really, the key to this set, in my opinion, was the Scyther. The Scyther was going crazy for Biff. Game 1, put in the fucking work. Iron Bundle, putting in work as usual. And I think Biff was very, like, this game, as you can see, it's like Croc and fucking Chase. Very close game. And Biff is literally in the same exact spot as Chase. This game was like his last like chance to really make a playoff run, and with losing to Josh, kind of puts the nail in the coffin for his season a little bit. I don't think he can make playoffs anymore. So hold on, I'm trying to get this focused. Fuck it, I don't even give a fuck. But yeah, season kind of in the coffin now. Kind of sucks. But he has a great team. I really, really, really like his team. I think trading out the Titan for Treads has been great for him. I think Glade and Bundle have been great picks for his team. I could see him franchising either one of them going into Season 4. And yeah, I think the only Pokemon on his team I think he hasn't used well has been Armor, who's I think has like 1 or 2 kills on the season, but that's besides the point. So for Biff, same thing as Chase. You're in a position to where you can ruin playoffs for someone else, so do that. And just think about next season and just have fun with it. Because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. And for Josh, I believe you're the number 3 team in the league right now. You are 7-3. You have a game against Preston week 12, which is actually extremely important. Because if you lose that, so hypothetical situation: Preston beats JC this week, and then you guys are tied at 3-1 or 4-1 for divisional record. If that's the case, Week 12 matters a lot because you can essentially knock Preston out of playoffs completely. Even if you lose, though, I still think you'll make it just because your record. For Tabs B, JC, they need you to beat Preston really badly. If you lose to Preston, you really ruin any chance of like stealing spots. But yeah, I think Josh is pretty locked down for playoffs. For Josh, what I would recommend is just keep playing the game you have been playing. I think your team is really solid. Your prep, oh, you brought Assault Vest, Agility, Iron Moth. Not your proudest moment, but you still won. And I think what else? You brought Dragon Dance, Altaria with special attacks and Earthquake. I think the speed boost is fine, right? It had Earthquake, so it makes sense for Dragon Dance. But in my opinion, if you just went for the agility with like Roost, I think that could have been a little bit better. That's just me though. Honestly, I don't. If I'm not playing in a match, I'm not gonna do the research for like what's actually better. But just from a gut feeling, I think agility Roost probably would have been a little bit better than Dragon Dance Earthquake. That's just me. Who knows? Maybe I'm the bozo. But yeah. He has to get through Armor Roost, so actually it's not that bad. But anyway, that's the point. I'm not gonna nitpick and fucking the fucking thing. But yeah, I think Josh, top 3 team in the league. He's been doing very solidly. Obviously, 7-3, great record, divisional leader at the moment. So yeah, I think for Josh, just play out the rest of the season. Take it kind of lightly, like me and Chris kind of are, because again, us 3 are kind of we're like the only 3 teams that are like really, really on luck for playoffs. So kind of cruise out this rest of the season. Obviously, just keep winning, so you just don't have to worry about anything, but just keep winning. Keep doing your game, and you'll be fine. Just don't worry about nothing. Just play it how you have been, and you'll make playoffs. Let me change this song. This song is going crazy. But yeah, um, if I were to just speak from one top coach to another, because obviously you're in the other conference, so if I see you, we'll be in finals. It'll be the first time we play, which I'm very excited because even though it's kind of crazy to say I want to play your team, I kind of want to play your team, man. Altaria, Great Tusk Samurai, Iron Moth, Mouse. You have a really fun team. It's very, very cohesive. I like it a lot. So yeah, uh, but yeah, if I were to just speak from experience, coach, and big, I know you have a lot more draft experience than me. Uh, Most of my drafts that I've done previously have been in like the Gen 6, Gen 7 days. Those days are long gone from us now. But obviously, you have a way more experience than me in like a modern day draft. So maybe my advice doesn't mean much. But um, what I will say, speaking as a veteran of Big Juice, is playoffs is a lot. Obviously, it's a lot different than regular season. So while I would recommend you focus on just cruising out the rest of the season, just playing how you have been, kind of like me and Chris, you have to start thinking about playoffs. Got to start thinking about who you could potentially play because, like I said, me, you, and Chris kind of unlocked for playoffs. So for us three, we have the advantage because we can kind of scout out to see who we could potentially play and start thinking about matchups. If you've played them before, think about what went right, what went wrong. Me, you, and Chris are in a very dominant position, not only for playoff positioning, obviously, but for actual playoffs, because we can actually start looking at who our potential opponents are and who we can start prepping for. I mean, for me, assuming I don't lose to Woo and nothing crazy happens, I'm basically guaranteed. I'm not guaranteed, but it's very likely I'll end in the first seed for my conference, which means there's three people I could play. There's Tanner, Croc, and Woo. I play Croc this week. Which we'll see if I win or lose. But Tanner and Woo, I had very dominant games against. I never really felt pressured by them. Woo more so than Tanner, but even in my game against Tanner, like I, I was always ahead of him. He never really had me in a position to where I felt like I was ever gonna lose or I was even stressed about losing. That's not to be a dick. It's just to be honest. I mean, if you watch the game back, I was kind of laughing the whole time, but that's besides the point. That's besides the point. But yeah, um, I think you should definitely start thinking about playoffs because again, um, just speaking from experience, me and JC can speak more so than anyone else. Mnez just goes crazy in playoffs. And with a lot of new teams coming into this season, you being one of them, there could be some postseason demons. You could be one of them. But you got to be careful because playoffs is a different breed. All playoff games this season are best of 5, which means not only just by joining Big Juice you had to get accustomed to sets of best of 3 because every other draft league is just one and done. Number one, you had to just get accustomed to best of 3. Now going into the playoffs, you gotta get used to best of 5 season on the line games, which is just insane pressure, an insane amount of pressure. Um, there's only been 4 coaches to be in that position: me, Mnez, Tanner, and JC. Because before this season, it was only finals that was best of 5. So only 4 coaches with experience in best of 5s, and as a coach with experience in a best of 5 set, I can tell you one thing: being up 2-0. I mean, I wasn't up 2-0 against Mnez. Let's be clear. I won game 1 and then I got swept 3-0. I lost finals 3-1. Really sucked. Shoulda killed the Darm with the Earth Power, but that's besides the point. Yeah. Um, Best of threes are a very different mentality change. Because you win game 1, and usually after you win game 1, it's like, all right, one more. But to have to win 3 games, it's a different beast. It really is. The best of 5 to best of 3 is very difficult. It's a very big change. I think you'll be fine with it. but as a player who has never done a best of five set before, assuming, because most other leagues are one and done, I would, you and Noah, since you are like the two new coaches that are probably making playoffs, Croc as well, but Croc plays VGC, so he's kind of used to it, I guess. Maybe I don't know if they do best of fives in VGC or they're all best of three. I don't know, but yeah, that would be my biggest advice to you is to just kind of start scouting to see who you could potentially play for playoffs. Obviously, in your conference, it's a lot more hectic because there's a lot of teams sitting at like that 5-5 slot that could really overtake anyone. But I would definitely use this time to definitely start just looking at any potential opponents, watching back VODs of their games and your games with them, and just thinking about what went right and what went wrong. And just get used to best of fives because that is going to be very important. So yeah, these were all the games this week. Um, Chris beat me. Tanner beat Nick. Croc beat Chase. And then beat Noah. And B beat Tabs. And Josh beat Biff. Very good games this week. Super fun to watch. The only game I would say maybe not the most fun to watch was probably me and Tanner's games. Tanner, just very obviously doing a lot better than Nick. And then my game against Chris, Chris played a lot better than me. Maybe that's just me being salty about it. I don't know, but 2-0s are never fun to watch, right? Even as this game was a 2-0, I wouldn't say it was bad to watch, but you know what I mean. When you have games like Chase's game, B's game, I think it was still a good set. But when you have games like Croc and Chase and Nick and Biff, or not Nick, Jesus Christ, Josh and Biff, um, you know what I mean? Like those two games are like potential set of the seasons in my eyes. So just having all the other games in comparison with these two games, very tough to match. But yeah, that is that's the video. Um, I know I spent a lot of time ranting about shit, but again, as we near playoffs, uh, I don't think it can be. I don't think I can emphasize it enough just how important it is for. I don't think I can emphasize the importance of just doing well. A lot of a lot of teams are in a great position to make playoffs, and it just comes down like that last divisional game, week 12, or maybe just a couple games against potential opponents that could seal a wild card slot that you have to beat, like Tanner, Tanner and Woo. Big game next week for both of them. They're not in the same division, but they're both in competition for each other. So yeah, a lot on the line these next couple weeks. For set of the season, I expect the set of the season to come from either week 11 or week 12 games. Just because they're the most important, flat out. They're the most important games left, week 11 and week 12. Week 13 and 14, still important, but week 12 is going to be the big one. So yeah, this isn't updated yet. I have to update it from the games played today. But yeah, the records are so obviously JC and Preston haven't played yet. Neither has Nick and New. But for everyone else, the records are the records. Divisionally. So yeah, I'm very excited to see. I'm very excited to get ready for playoffs. Obviously, Chris, and Chris and Josh are really the only three that can really start relaxing at this point of the season. But for the other 14, so for the other 11 coaches, still very stressful. But I wish the best of luck to all of you. And yeah, that's the week 10 recap. Big week. Second to last divisional game. Season 3 is almost over. Crazy. But this video is already 54 minutes long. So I've been ranting for a very long time. It is 2:49 in the morning. I should probably get out of here. But yeah. I'm going to get out of here. I'm very excited for playoffs. As you can see, I'm putting a lot more effort into the content, which means the excitement for playoffs is going crazy. If I'm being straight flat out honest, I'm probably going to record the week 11 predictions right after this because I'm just that amped up right now. So yeah, if not, I'll record in the morning. No stress, but yeah. I'm very much looking forward to playoffs. I know I repeat myself a lot, but this smile don't lie, man. This smile don't lie. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna update this kill sheet and then maybe record the week 11 predictions. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see y'all later.